Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 0, Rashford, Martial, Fred, Casemiro stealing the show with another just masterful performance, wasn't it? It was just a good night at the office for Manchester United.
I think it was a solid night at the office, and things that seemed straightforward in terms of big clubs picking up results against small clubs, but that's not been a case for United fans for a long time. A team like Forest can come to Old Trafford over the last 4-5 years and cause an upset, whereas a straightforward win like that can often be hard come by as United fans these days.
Yeah.
But Ten Hag is creating this squad that can do a job. Now, if this squad can do a job, it means it can constantly pick up points.
Yeah.
And that's what will get us up into that top 4 spot.
Yeah.
And tonight, with the added pressure of Newcastle doing so well, Arsenal remaining top of the league, Liverpool picking up points.
Chelsea just won before the game started as well.
And knowing that actually Tottenham have dropped points, that there was opportunity there for a team not to let that affect them in the way that it could have happened. United go, pick up 3 points, and it's like, right, happy days.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens now. We've got about 4 or 5 games to find our feet after the World Cup. Gel again as a squad that I would say aren't too difficult.
Yeah.
Whereas in later January, that's when we're going to get tested, and that's when games like today will mean so much.
Well, looking at those games ahead, it's Wolves, Bournemouth, Everton, Charlton.
You should win all of them.
You've got to be winning certainly 3 out of those 4. Maybe
Wolves,
a draw
was
here
the
or
new
there.
manager bounce is the only thing that would be slightly,
Yeah.
because they always say it's just footballing gods have more of a say on things than I think people understand. Like the whole new manager bounce
Like
could
when we
bite
got
us in the arse.
battered by Villa.
Yes.
But on this performance today, I think it's a good point that you made about these sorts of wins have been difficult to come by as United fans. Like the loss to Sheffield United the season before last, I think it was, or maybe it was the season before last when we were going for the title, top on January the 1st, and Sheffield United were bottom of the league. I don't even think they'd won a game when we played them.
100%. You're right.
And we lost 2-1 at home. Some unlucky refereeing sort of decisions in there, but we still lost the game.
Yeah.
And yet, like you said, we're getting to the point where with Ten Hag where that game was comfortable tonight.
Yeah, it was.
Like, I've got some stats here from the game. Obviously, United 17 shots to Forest 8 on target to Forest 3 big chances to Forest 0. United with 545 passes, only 218 for Forest. Just dominant numbers. And after the first half, where we only had 6 shots, to go out in that second half, have 11 shots and put the game to bed, I think it's just the sort of performance that. If you want to be winning trophies, and it doesn't even have to be the Premier League, because you need to be able to put these performances in every competition that you're in, you have to be able to beat the teams that aren't as good as you and do it consistently. And there's been so many times as a United fan over the last decade where I've sat here, or I've sat at home, or I've sat at Old Trafford, and I've said to the people around me, how are they beating us? Or you see the fucking thing in the bottom corner, the thing that winds me up the most is Man United squad price 400 million, MK Don squad price 4 million, and that we're losing 3-1 to them.
Yeah.
Like we feel, it feels to me like we're getting to a point where we beat teams that we are better than, and that weirdly is so much easier said than done.
Yeah, and it also is the point of where you hear the commentary team say that this team has not beaten United since 1936 or whatever. But these, I mean, just taking the actual 3-0 scoreline seems hard come by in the last couple of years. 3 goals and a clean sheet. It just seems like a scoreline that big teams constantly win by, but United haven't. So we're happy that we've got the clean sheet as well. With what you'd say was a makeshift back 4, with Shaw coming into the middle. But Varane, being the class act that he is, held it all together. Considering Malacia and Wan-Bissaka didn't have great games either.
No. And just on that as well, we've seen in the past where you tweak 1 or 2 things. Under Solskjaer, it felt the case. And obviously, I'm not using this to sort of disparage Solskjaer or the team at that time, because that's the team that finished 3rd and 2nd, which is higher than we've been at any point this season. So it's not like we're amazing now and we were shit then. That was a good team, but it felt like if we lost certain players, or if we had disruptions to that starting 11, we would really struggle in games. But you look at the back 4 in the last 2 games. I know Burnley aren't a Premier League team, but they're the best team that isn't a Premier League team in England. And we had none of our first choice back 5 in that game. Every single player isn't a first-choice player, and we won the game comfortably. You look tonight, we've got 3 full-backs starting in our back 4, and we've got Varane, who's playing his first game since the World Cup final. A World Cup final, by the way, which was 8 days ago.
Yeah. And so long as well, although he did come off, didn't he, for...
Yeah, he came off in the end, but we were 2 or 3-0 up at the time. And yet, this was a comfortable performance. Luke Shaw made 100 passes tonight, which anytime any player makes 100 passes in a game, they've done well. But we need to move on to Casemiro. I need to talk about Casemiro. We'll talk about the eye test and just how good he looked in a minute, but let me start with some stats. Most chances created in the game, Casemiro with 3. Most attacking third passes, Casemiro with 22. Most tackles in the game, Casemiro with 5 tackles. What else is he? He's just like at the top of everything. Most headed clearances in the game, Casemiro. So not only is he the best defensively with the most tackles and most clearances, he's also made more chances than anyone else. Yeah. He's also made more passes in the final third than anyone else. That is an utterly dominant performance from Casemiro. Second most passes as well, only behind Luke Shaw. Like, how can he be doing what he's doing at both ends of the pitch so consistently? I'm stunned by how good he is. I knew he was good, but it could have been the case that Modric and Kroos had been making him look good all these years. Yeah. I didn't think it was, but if you'd have come in and gone, oh shit, something's not right here, you could have easily thought about it and gone, maybe they were making him look good. Maybe Ramos was making him look good because he was covering up for him. I think Casemiro's the linchpin of that team because he's utterly phenomenal.
He was phenomenal here, and I think he's cutting his cloth in the Premier League against sides like Forest really, really well. He's understanding how he can fit into this United team. I think the role of Casemiro will become stronger and stronger as the games go on, and I think he'll understand that more as well. In a team like Real Madrid full of superstars, he might realise that actually he's the superstar in this team, and hopefully it could go both ways. Your head could get massive and you could let it go to you, but I don't think it would. I think Casemiro's going to use that sort of pride of being the best player in that squad to the best of his ability. Because the papers will talk, social media will talk, we're talking now. And I don't think Casemiro ever had the spotlight on him as much in Madrid because of the superstars that surrounded him. Whereas when he comes into a team that's been crying out for a Casemiro-type player, he's going to realise, one, how good he really, really is, even though he probably knew it. But now when he steps into a team that needed him, and he's going to think, actually, I'm the superstar here. The kids want me on the back of their shirts. The headlines talk about him. We've got the thumbnail saying World Casemiro. That could help him in these 2 or 3 years that we might have him be the best player in our team. And I hope that leads to results like today more and more.
It's mad as well that, like, for so long, for whatever reason, United managers or the United board or the United owners, whoever it is, has either refused or not been able to, or all I see is we have not signed a defensive midfielder that was bought to play that role outright since Matic.
Yeah.
And that was 2017, 2018, 5-6 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago. And then you bring Casemiro in, and it just changes everything. It settles the team. It settles the shape. We can maintain pressure because he's winning the ball back. Excuse me. What he did for that Fred goal, pushing up, pressing high, intercepting the ball 35 yards out, 40 yards out, and from there you could excuse him for playing the easy pass to Bruno Fernandes. He can see it in his eye line. He's right there. 10-yard pass to Bruno wouldn't even be a bad option. But instead, this is a player that can read the game as well as he does to get the ball back in the first place, but then has immediately got the vision to see the more difficult pass across the field to Fred, and not just does he see it, he lays it on a plate for him to the point where even Fred, who is probably the worst finisher I've seen that isn't a goalkeeper, can put it in the back of the net, no problem.
We can all do well. I think it was just a great game today. I mean, I don't think you can take a lot of positives out of it. You do got to remember that Forest weren't great and they're at the bottom of the league, and let us get ahead of ourselves too much. But pick the positives where we can. Yeah,
I mean, they're not bottom of the league; they're only 19th. So let's not slander Forest, shall we?
Well,
but this is a team, though, a Forest team that had only lost 1 in their last 6. So it was a Forest team on the up. It's easy to look back and say they're in 19th.
1 of the last 6. Does that count like friendlies that they played against
themselves? No, they'd only lost 1 of their last 6 before today. They're a team that was turning things around a little bit. Beat Liverpool in October. So, you know what I mean? This is a team that's been doing well. United just absolutely nullified them. I'll get into some of the comments. SG says, I don't care about Donny. All I care about is Fred. Oof. singing songs, but it's slandering. James Stewart says, sloppy Rashford, slopping all the way. Interesting. Ali Milani says, shout out to Luke Shaw for the job he did at centre-back. Never played as a centre-back in a back four in his career, and he did well tonight. Like I said, when you to play at centre-back and to get 100 passes, that's like fucking like Van Dijk sort of numbers, isn't it, where basically everything goes through him. Maybe he could do that job. I'm not saying permanently, but I'm saying as a rotation piece.
We've not come up against a solid attack yet for him to.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I don't mean he's our new centre back. What I mean is, in situations where we've got sort of defensive problems, we've now seen that Luke Shaw is capable of not just sort of going under the radar. He had the most passes by 26 passes in the whole game, so he's obviously capable of it. Which again, I think. You got to give credit to the midfield, Casemiro, Eriksen as well, for the job they're doing in front of the defence to allow basically the defence to have the night off, which is pretty good. Just looking forward a little bit, or looking at the league table now. Man United currently on 29 points in 5th place, 1 point behind Tottenham in 4th place on 30 points. But United do have a game in hand. So if we win that game in hand, we will go up into 4th place, which is the first time that we'd have been in the top 4 for a couple of months, even including the World Cup. So we're looking to be in a decent position. Then you look down the league, Liverpool 4 points behind us with 25, same game. So we've got that buffer there of being able to lose a game and still stay above them. United now, would you put us as one of the favourites for the top 4?
I think, unfortunately, we've got to have someone lose a bit of form at the minute, because all those teams that are going for top 4 have bounced back pretty strong. Tottenham being the only one that you might say are going to struggle. And
They've only won 2 of the last 6. Tottenham.
That might be their downfall. Liverpool will be back at it, no question about it. It'll be us neck and neck, I think, possibly for that last top 4 spot. Newcastle look pretty strong. You'd say that maybe they're due a wobble, but no, if they consistently play how they do, then they'll stay there, and City will stay there, and Arsenal will stay there. So realistically, I don't think Chelsea will get up there. I think they'll have more wobbles to come, even though they did win today. Realistically, that 4th spot is between a Tottenham side that have got a head start, a Man United side that you looked at the start of the season, thought were nowhere near good enough, but now they're there, and a Liverpool side that will build momentum and have new attacking options in the bloody January transfer window. So it's a 3-horse race for me for that 4th spot.
To be honest, I think Liverpool will get top 4.
It's unfortunate, but I think as well.
I think United will get top 4. To me, I think it's obviously United are in a fight for the rest of the season. We could easily finish 5th. I'm not saying we won't, but I think it's more likely that Newcastle will be the ones at the end of the year who are on that real borderline.
I don't
Newcastle
think so.
and Tottenham. But they're only. But you look at them. I know they're second in the league, but they're only 4 points ahead of United, and we've got a game in hand. So we'll be 1 point behind them if we win our game in hand. So it's not like they're second, yes, but they've played 2 more games than City, and they're still only a point ahead of us if we win. So do you know what I mean?
I get you.
We can catch them if we beat them next time we play them.
It's true. Well, I still think something's. I think Newcastle got more character, a bit more heart than Tottenham. And I think they just do well. There's a momentum so far in front of them now that they're going to push on.
They're doing well, aren't they?
They're doing well. It's someone to look. It's really a team to be worried about. But we can't be too harsh on ourselves if we do miss out on a top 4 spot, because Liverpool got there before us. This is a team that got to 3 cup finals last year, won 2 of them, lost the Champions League, and came second in a very, very tough Premier League.
I think Liverpool will sort their act out, like they did 2 years ago, where they ended up finishing 4th on the last day. The season after that, where they got top 4 in the end, and they're not even that far off, to be honest.
This post-match press conferences that we're seeing, Amazon are using like these mad camera angles to make it more cinematic.
It looks like a film. It looks like a film about football rather than football.
It does.
Do you know when you watch a show and it's like look like camera angles behind people sat in the stadium? Anyway, Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 0. Did we have a quote up on the screen then? Oh, okay, we didn't.
Do you want one from me?
Yeah, go on.
Great win.
Joe McGrath.
2022.
Fantastic. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 0. A routine victory for Manchester United. Casemiro showing his class. Rashford with a goal and assist. Martial back on the score sheet. Varane back from the World Cup. Luke Shaw playing centre-back and getting 100 passes.
Yeah, and
an Old Trafford it's all gone well, hasn't it?
And an Old Trafford where fans will leave a smile on their face, not going, why the fuck did we just get beat by Forest?
Merry Christmas. Do you know what I mean?
And a Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year. Right, thank you very much for joining us. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you check out Joe McGrath on the Sloppy Joes podcast. Brand new episode out today. Go and check it out. The link to that is in the description and in the comments. So go and check that out. As soon as you've done this, hit subscribe. Try and get it to 6,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for joining us. Manchester United 3, Nottingham Forest 0. The top 4 better watch. Do you know what I mean? Just better watch out. Better watch out. 1 point off Tottenham with a game in hand. It's all in United's hands. Manchester United 3, Newcastle 0. Nottingham Forest 0 even. We'll see in a bit.